piano. Hey, you know what time it is, No Press fam? Welcome everyone to another episode of The Beatdown, the segment where two worlds collide. I am your host, Clyde, and this is my co-host, Biggs. Doing it big, baby. And as a friendly reminder, if you guys enjoy our content, you know what you can do? You can like, share, subscribe, or leave a comment, or turn on your notifications to get the latest episodes. And in honor of Doctor Strange 2, mentioning the Illuminati and having Illuminati members, we're bringing up the last final member in the Illuminati, and I'll be representing the founding member of X-Men, Marvel's Professor Charles Xavier.
It's me you want, so here I am.
Okay, brief origin story time. When Charles Xavier was a boy, he started experiencing his powers, and it was sadly after his father had passed. His father was a nuclear physicist, I guess, and he died during a nuclear explosive testing. Eventually, his mother weeps for him and then eventually moves on to her husband's assistant, who was named Marco, Dr. Marco. She doesn't realize what Marco's intentions were, but Marco did have some motives, and Charles was able to figure it out because his power for reading minds started growing. Yes, that's right, he could read minds. So he started realizing what the intentions were. But it was already too late. They got married, and then Dr. Marco started showing his abusive side, his aggressive side. But the real reason why he got married to her was so that way he can get their vast fortune. So eventually, Charles is dealing with a difficult time with the abusive stepfather, along with the wife having to deal with it as well. But then comes along as well, from a previous marriage, the stepfather's son. So now he has a stepbrother, and his stepbrother actually is a little older, and he's actually torments him and treats him like crap because this is kind of one of those bully and nerd situation. He doesn't like the fact that Charles is more smarter than him, I guess, in this situation. So mother passes, Charles is left with these two, and eventually just focuses his energy on academics, where he actually achieves and accelerates tremendously because, well, he has apparently this gift that gives him that ability. He's very athletic, and he also is very smart. He gets older. Eventually, he opens a school, gets a certain PhD degrees for a lot of things, and then he opens a school for gifted young students. And by gifted, we're talking about mutants. Now, here's a fun fact. How Charles lost his hair was because his power kept growing, so his hair eventually started losing because of the powers. On top of that, how he lost his legs, well, this is weird, but during a battle against an invader called Lucifer, this giant stone block fell into his legs and crushed them, so it made him completely paralyzed. So that's how he lost his legs. And that's the brief origin story of Charles Xavier. Powers, abilities, and feats. Let's get into it, people, shall we? Telepathy, telepathic illusions, telepathic cloak, mind link, telepathic camouflage, mind blast, mind control, mind possession, mind alteration, mental amnesia, physic wave manipulation, mental shield, psionic blast, mental detection, mental transferable, absorb information, telepathic learning, amulingual, astral projection, telekinesis, genius intelligence, military training, and an expert fighter. Okay, so here's some impressive feats he's actually achieved. The time he put down one half of the Phoenix Force that Cyclops was possessed with on his knees. Okay, he put Thor to sleep, the mighty Thor to sleep. Blasted a Sentinel with his mind out of a building. Stopped Rachel Summers' mind control attack, who is a cosmic level telepath. Okay, took down an Omega level mutant, such as, I think his name is, I hope I'm saying this right, Exodus, even though he's not one himself. Tapped into the consciousness of the universe, took down the Phoenix Force himself during the Phoenix Dark Force Saga comics. Okay, that's damn near impressive. Okay, so how I see Charles winning this fight, or Professor Xavier winning this fight. Let's go with that. So Professor Xavier, if he was able to take out a Sentinel by tossing it with his mind, I do believe he has the strength to keep anything Gorilla Grodd might throw at him. So I think that he will just start off by creating a force field, so that way if anything comes his direction, he'll be able to block it. Remember, he threw a Sentinel. A Sentinel is huge, and it's not able to, it takes a handful of X-Men to take one down. For Charles to be able to do that is amazing. So, creating the shield will provide the defense he needs. Now, obviously, distance and range is Charles' best friend. A close-up fight match is not going to do Charles any favor. Gorilla Grodd's got two things. He's got the muscle and he's got the brains. And muscle is gonna be a problem if you're fighting somebody with the mind at the same time, having to worry about him tossing something at you or grabbing you at one point. So yeah, distance is going to be his best friend in this situation. Another thing he's going to want to do is create some certain form of illusions that would keep Gorilla Grodd on his toe, maybe create duplicates of himself so that way he doesn't know who exactly he's going against. And the name of the game for sure in this essence is going to be shots to the head. So Charles knows that Gorilla Grodd's greatest asset is the helmet he possesses or his brain. So he's going to have to do a lot of throwing in the shots to the head situation. So he's going to have to see, and he's going to have to wait for his openings when he gets it to toss a couple things right into that skull, because the more he keeps him busy with that, eventually he starts losing focus. Eventually he's not able to conjure his power or be able to do what he can normally if his brain is in the full type of agonizing pain. So with that agonizing pain keeping him kind of pretty occupied, not being able to focus his energy or his powers on Charles like he needs to, Charles will be able to do what he needs to get into that mind. Now, you can say all you want about Gorilla Grodd being a pretty impressive intellectual creature, but let's not forget, Charles put down 1/2 of the Phoenix Force, okay? Gorilla Grodd is a tough character, but 1/2 of the Phoenix Force? No, I don't think Gorilla Grodd is that strong. So, being able to put that power down on its knees, yeah, I gotta say, Gorilla Grodd has no chance in this one.
No, don't make me see. Xavier, I can't. Stop it. Stop it.
And I'll be representing DC Comics Gorilla Grodd.
I wouldn't worry about it, Neanderthal. The way I see it, you're dead either way.
All right, everybody, brief origin story time. So, a suspicious spacecraft landed on Earth. And, nobody knew what happened or what was in it. And then also at the same time, some strange activities was happening with a random gorilla. So at first people thought it was this gentleman who works at the circus who dresses up like a gorilla and has a whole bit with it. So before he got into any trouble, he decided to call his good buddy Barry Allen. And if you don't know who Barry Allen is, that is The Flash. That's just his normal persona. So he decides to call Barry Allen to help him to solve what this monkey business is. And no pun intended, or pun intended. And eventually, Barry Allen decides to go and investigate. Eventually, the spaceship actually had something in it, and it was a gorilla. And the weird activities are linked together. And the gorilla that was inside that spaceship was Grodd. And Grodd was actually looking for another gorilla who landed on here and got captured by the people on Earth. So he found the other gorilla at the circus, and then he eventually obtains the knowledge and information of this gorilla. So he can actually take all that information back to his home. That way they can gather a war battle strategy plan to take down Earth itself. Surprisingly, this place that he went to, he didn't leave. He actually went, and there was a little private island, a little secret island over in our planet that was hidden, that had all these gorillas. Eventually Flash found it, stops Grodd from doing his thing. But yeah, pretty much that's the brief origin story of Gorilla Grodd. And just so you guys know, there are very, very different variations and interpretations of origin stories in comics. So just keep that in mind. This is just a very old school classic one. Powers, abilities, and feats. Let's get into it, guys. All right. Gorilla physiology, obviously. Fangs, superhuman durability, superhuman strength, telepathy, animal control, mind transference, psychic wave bolts. Yeah, that's interesting. Thought sensing, telekinesis possibly, molecular reconstruction, energy projection, force field, genius level intellect, Grodd is extremely intelligent with knowledge of technology beyond the development of human civilization. That's impressive. He's an expert in combat. His impressive feats isn't easy to knock out. Okay, Wonder Woman couldn't put him down, and neither could the Flash, needing practically a supersonic mega punch to put the big guy down. Okay, was able to absorb Martian Manhunter's mind. Okay, which means he grows stronger with each mind he gets hold of. Has the Speed Force granted to him with immense strength and speed. Defeated Superman by making him think he had kryptonite on him. Okay, that's crazy. Was able to get into Hector Hammond's mind. If you don't know who Hector Hammond is, he's one of those really powerful telekinesis in the DC comic realm. Held the forces back of the Green Lantern's ring, and that's not something any ordinary creature or any non-human can do. All right, let's get into how I think Gorilla Grodd would win this one. So let's start off with the fact that Gorilla Grodd's mind, not only his actual body, but his actual mind is strong enough to carry things that weigh tons. So do I think that Gorilla Grodd has enough mind strength to throw something so strong enough or so repeatedly into the force field of Charles Xavier, whatever kind of field he decides to put on? Absolutely. Having something, eventually that much pressure being forced into something, eventually sometimes things are going to crack and break. It just takes a matter of time. So all Gorilla Grodd has to do is keep throwing really, really big ton objects, like big huge stones, maybe a huge tank or something at Xavier. Eventually his force field is gonna give. Now, up close in person, I'm gonna say this: Gorilla Grodd would destroy Xavier. Yes, Xavier has an impressive mind and has intellect, but so does Grodd. He also has sonic energy and everything like that, and force fields, but so does Grodd. So the only difference is that Gorilla Grodd also has his physical body. So unfortunately, Charles is not going to be able to do much. So it would be Gorilla Grodd being able to kind of grab him at any moment. Remember, he has the Speed Force. That means he has more immense strength and speed, which means he could probably catch Charles off guard when the opening arises, which means an up-close battle for him will be a sweet opportunity. And even from a further distance, remember, he can throw things that weigh tons at Charles. So I don't think that Charles can do anything when it comes to things that weigh tons coming from distance, or an up-close fight with Grodd when it comes to fist. Another point I will make is that Gorilla Grodd was able to control or be able to stop Martian Manhunter's telepathy. And Martian Manhunter is quite known as one of the toughest DC telepaths in comics, so in DC Universe. So that being said, if he's able to take Martian Manhunter on, I think he can also take on Charles. Remember, Charles is not exactly, from what I understand, is not an Omega level mutant. Even though people might make that interpretation, I've heard that he is not an Omega level mutant, which means that Gorilla Grodd still has a fighting chance to take on Charles Xavier. If it becomes a battle of the minds, remember, if he could take Martian Manhunter's will, he could probably take Charles' will. So when it comes to the mind, Gorilla Grodd, I believe, still has a fighting chance. When it comes to the physical attributes, I think Gorilla Grodd has a chance. When it comes to the range and the distance, I think Gorilla Grodd has the ton weights to throw at Xavier. Either way, Gorilla Grodd is going to go ape all over Charles Xavier. As always, No Press fam, it's not up to me. It's not up to Biggs. It's up to you guys. So if you guys like my argument, you know what you can do? You can hashtag Charles Xavier or Professor Xavier. And if you like my argument, you know what you can do? You can hashtag Gorilla Grodd. And as always, No Press fam, we really appreciate you guys keeping it 100 subs. Peace.